Hello. Hi, Armor Word. Hi, Valerie. Quotes by SF. Tara Vegas. Gift of Poetry. You guys, thanks for dropping in. So, the time change, we had our daylight savings. We had to turn the clocks back an hour. So, that threw me off a little bit this morning. Lost an hour of sleep, but that's okay. And I wanted to do a lot of prep work for this, and it was all done this morning. We had another busy weekend. Hi. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with reading some poetry from my Eve Story Challenge. So last Sunday, I started a new challenge series, I guess, and it is the challenge was announced during my live feed, and it went as follows. I had challenged people to write about a story from your past that would be completely different if you had a cell phone. You can use any other smart technology that we enjoy now, and how your experience from your past would change if this technology existed. And for younger folks, I just said you can kind of flip that around. So obviously, some people don't really remember a lot of experiences before cell phones if you are, in your early 20s or just a younger person. But there are other ways to flip that by either kind of imagining a time when something would have been different had your phone died and you didn't have the access to your technology. And there's other ways you can interpret that. So I kind of let people run with it. When I give the challenge each week for the story challenge, I don't expect people to do it verbatim how I'm explaining it. I really want people to kind of just use that as a prompt and go which direction they please. So I'm going to go ahead and read. I only actually had a few, I think 3 or 4 that participated. So when you participate in my story challenges, what I'm going to do is share it on my Instagram story on Eve Poetry and feature it if you participate. And I want to go ahead and read the 3 from last week's challenge. So the first poet is Joanna the Poet. That's her Instagram handle. And she calls it Beneath the Phoneless Skies. We used to play outside beneath the beaming sun. Splendor seeped through our veins from so much fun. Our beating hearts were the clocks of excitement. No phones needed to be taken just to promote incitement. The parental phrase became a child's dreadful psalm. Make sure to come in before the streetlights turn on. When tomorrow would come, we dreamed to go play, for there were no cell phones to lead us astray. And that was by Joanna the Poet from the Eve Story Challenge. Hi, Fabio. Words to Feel. All right, so the next one I'm going to read is also from the Eve Story Challenge, before technology or cell phones. And this is Godzillion 100's, her interpretation, and it's called The Abduction. So, here it is, The Abduction. In 1989, if I had a cell phone or access to a payphone, perhaps I would not have been abducted by the spaceship hovering above me. Yet, 11 hours later, I returned to where there was a payphone. But it no longer mattered because they met their agenda. And so the abduction was an illusion reality that to this day I cannot recall what had befallen. I only remember it was 12 noon at the light of its beam, and it was 11 in the evening when they returned me to Earth's reality. Very cool. That was Godzillion 100. And then the last one that participated in last week's Eve Story Challenge is Quotes by SF. My diary would only listen. Early days of my teenage years, and only a diary to rant my feelings in, but my diary would only listen, and never reply, never share its opinion. Although saved from harsh criticisms, my words got no platform to connect with more words, to have real conversations, to share the beauty of art. At a click, instantly, like it happens on Instagram. Before we had cell phones or their social networking sites, I read Danielle Steele, but could not let her know how beautifully she writes. Now, underneath the cold simmering online hatred, I have found my warm niche, full of people who get it, who get how it feels to be able to relate, who get how it feels to be able to be heard, who know the irony of using technology, while longing for the Victorian love letters. When the rain was captured in our senses and not in the camera's lenses, when we spent lovely moments without worrying about the selfies to be taken. Every period of time has something unique to offer, and still has so much more to imbibe. Such is my longing, the nostalgia. I miss how it was, but I don't want it back, because my diary would only listen. It could not interact. And that was My Diary Would Only Listen by Quotes by SF. So, if you'd like to participate in the Eve Story Challenge from this week, the challenge is going to be, you're going to pick a style of poetry that you've never written before. So try to go outside the level of comfort that you normally write within. And it doesn't have to even be poetry. It could be like a short story form, or just try to pick a style that's different for you and kind of stretch yourself a little bit. And the theme for this week is, think about a time or an experience where something made the hairs stand on end. So that feeling of like the goosebumps, or the hairs, those little hairs in the back of your neck, and it just stands on end. So whether it be something somebody told you or just some kind of an experience that you had, share whatever that means to you in a format that you've never used before. So that is a challenge, and when you share it on Instagram, if you decide to participate, like sleep paralysis dream, sure, it could be anything. Use Eve Story Challenge. Eve Story Challenge, that's the hashtag I'm checking for these stories, and I'm going to share everybody's piece on my story on Eve Poetry. So it's something, look, for instance, one of my more recent things that I think about with that and a personal experience was a friend of mine shared how her and her now husband met, and the story was so beautiful and so unique that I found myself with goosebumps when she told me, and all the little hairs, I could just feel them standing up. Yes, I will be posting the challenge on my page. I'm not going to share people's stories as a post, but I will be sharing your piece in my story. Okay, so okay, that's a great question. What do you do when you're not feeling any emotions? And what do you do when you stop feeling emotion? How do you write at that moment? I think it's actually really important to write, and maybe write about that while you're feeling numb. I think also these writing challenges that I have on my group, on Eve Poetry Group, we have now a new photo prompt and also a 6 words story challenge on a daily basis. Sometimes I think those really help when people are feeling a little blocked and not really feeling very emotional. Perhaps that will stir something up within you. But I really think that even if it's not something that feels very meaningful or stirs emotion within you, I think it's important to write anyway. So my recommendation would definitely be still just start putting words down on paper, and if nothing else, write about that feeling of either frustration or things that you're feeling at that moment that make you feel blocked or numb or fill in the blank. And I think addressing that sometimes is helpful. But maybe just going through the sort of emotionless exercise of doing one of the word prompts, that sometimes really helps kind of unplug the senses a little bit. And another thing, it's really super important, guys, if you are feeling emotionless and not full of inspiration, get away from your pad and paper or your computer or any screen and get outside. Go for a walk. Just be with nature. I'm not trying to be corny. It's legit a very important piece to think about, is you need to also have like holistic health for yourself. In order to be a good writer, you need to be taking care of your physical well-being and your emotional well-being. Yeah. So I think it's good to, just make sure, go out, get some exercise, go on a walk, go on a hike, do something that's good, for yourself, some self-love. Give yourself some time to think on your own without any pressure. So if I feel really blocked, I really have to just kind of remove myself sometimes also and make sure that I'm taking care of myself fully. Okay, anyway. The next piece I'm going to read is by Wordplay, and it's called Camo Smiles. A smile that hides suicide on my mind. Deflecting, how are you? I'm fine, doing well, great, and you? Lies, lies, lies. I want to die. I want to cry, but I can't. I want to fly. I'd know I'd crash. I just want. Normalcy is not the norm for me. A companion would be nice. Maybe this time I could keep her. Maybe she'd like me. Maybe she'd. Just daydreams, fantasy. So I retreat. Back behind the smile. The one that hides it all. And that was Camo Smiles by Wordplay. Oh, good. I'm glad about that, Pen Stories. You're welcome. All right, the next one is from Mused Moments, and it's called Change as Choice. Outside of the obvious, is there a defined right or wrong? I know that for me, I just don't believe there to be an exact strategy. I see we have choice to help one or all, choice to live big and still value what's small, to enjoy moments as gifts of our time, or sit in contemplation wondering if all would be fine. I know that for many, the struggle runs deep. Just to survive is a difficult and daily feat. My heart truly breaks knowing this truth. Always hoping to find ways that give meaningful soothe. The gift of one's heart seems never enough. If change is to happen, we must never give up. And that's Change as Choice by Mused Moments. I will also share the recap on Eve Poetry Group. It'll have the names of all of the Instagram handles that I read from today. All right. Next up is, I'm not really sure how to read the Instagram handle exactly, but it's Ton I'm Gold Wire. So it's TONIM Gold Wire. And it's called Visual Prints. I'm going to get rid of your photos. I'll burn all your clothes and flush what's left. Tear the curtains from the hinge. You from me, I'll rip. Every perfect and good gift. The life in my lungs. The rise to my sun. Down to the wind that carried me on. I'll throw it all away because somehow it'll rid me of your fingerprints. And that is Visual Prints by T. Goldwire. So I'm actually trying not to pause too much in between because I think I figured out how to record my screen to capture the comments. So if you are listening to everything and you want to give feedback, please definitely type comments for each of the pieces that I read. And I know the people that write them are very gracious and grateful for the feedback that they get to see. So please go ahead and add some commentary, because hopefully I will have all of this for later and I will share it on our YouTube channel. So the Facebook group that we have, Writers and Poets Cafe, the link to that group is on the Eve Poetry Group Instagram bio. And hi, Quiet Riot, Amy, and I know we have a YouTube channel that I have been uploading a lot of these to that channel because I could make them as long as I want. So I tried to do the smaller version, like a more condensed version on Instagram TV, so IGTV, but it only allows for 10 minutes. So the YouTube channel should have this in full, and the commentary is usually lost. So the video that Instagram lets you save, usually it's just the plain video, won't show all the comments. So I'm hoping today I successfully am recording this and we'll be able to share it later on YouTube for others to see, and also for people who miss this, that they'll get to see what you guys share and on all the lovely compliments or feedback that you guys provide to them. Okay? So the next one I'm going to read is by Shy Moon Quotes, and it is from the photo prompt that we had with the 2 horses. So each day we just started, it is new this week, we started a new photo prompt that you can use any written form. You don't have to do a poem even. You could do any format of poem, or you can do a short little story, whatever will fit on Instagram. And I will be featuring those on Eve Poetry Group. So this one is again by Shy Moon Quotes. You and I side by side, look opposites, not just attract, but also complement each other so beautifully it's majestic. We don't think alike. We have our difference of opinions, but we hear each other out, and either one of us learns something new each time we have the conversation, or we agree to disagree respectfully and move on from the topic, not each other. We are not the same, but we are about equality and love. And beyond our bodies and body-related identities, in the universe of souls, we are just the same, aren't we? Let me love you some more. Come, let's kiss. Oh, you seem so nervous. Okay, just give me a cute head bump. Let's start with that. You and me, side by side, the beauty, the contrast, the juxtaposition. Look, we created such an awesome composition. We so dope. and that is Shy Moon Quotes. And that was from the photo of two horses. And I love that, what was inspired by that photo. It's just so cool how people see that and what they come up with. So I will continue reading these during my live broadcast because it's really fun. Hi, Mike. The lunch note lady, Soul Body Horizon. Thank you. Happy Sunday to you too. All right, so the next one is from Poetic Ghost. I long for that day. I long for that day I could start traveling and do everything I want to do, in freedom and with no care for my livelihood. I long for that day I get to work for myself with pleasure and satisfaction, as I make great contributions of huge significance with enormous dividends. I long for that day throughout my whole life as I overcome all strife and obstacles with great courage and some rage against everything that tries to constrain and regulate me to a mindless zombie, just going through the motions. I long for that day I get to quench my curiosity and revel at the beauty and the mysteries of life and the magnificent world. I long for that day I appreciate the simple things in life, because I understand that life is to be lived forward, but understood backward. And that is why I long for that day to be me, to be my everyday. And that was Poetic Ghost. All right, the next one is God's One Son, and it's called Shady. The human heart is undeniably a very deep place. What you see appearing on the surface is not necessarily the same as what is hiding beneath. What you see on the surface of some is beautiful, flowers, but beneath those are roaches and spiders. Or the other way around. Who knows the true intentions of the heart? And that was God's One Son. Shady. Alright, people are quiet. That or my internet is slow. I don't know what. It shows I'm pretty, like I have a full bar, but here we go. Okay. Comment away, guys. The next one I'm going to read is by A Line or Two, and it is called Love versus Hate. Extra, extra, read all about it. Don't want to miss. You've never seen a fight quite like this. Hatred enters boxing match with love. They stand toe to toe, tap glove to glove. Crowd starts to chant as the bell dings. Hatred swung his most famous swings. Love took it on the chin and stayed erect. Hatred landed hits love couldn't deflect. Blow by blow, hatred pounded away. Round after round, love continued to stay. Hatred went for a knockout and tried for the win, but love always outlasts him in the end. At the final bell, hatred said with a sneer, I think we both know who got more points here. The announcer said, by unanimous votes, every thought hatred has landed more blows. Oh, let me start that line again. The announcer said, by unanimous votes, even though hatred has landed more blows, the winner is love, and this reason is why. Love survived all the hatred and yet refused to die. That was beautiful. Wow. Well done. A line or two. Love versus hate. With a really cool boxing analogy. I love that. The next one's by ANS_thoughts. And it goes as follows. The caption says, this poem is with regards to International Women's Day. May these few words empower and inspire you. It's called Power. I pray for you, my beloved. May each day you are awakened by your resilience. May each day bring you the courage to fight inequality, to fight the demons. May each day motivate you to be your best self. May each day you conquer the world. And that was Ann's_thought. Hi guys. Undercover poet, Kim, I don't know, Merkan, I think that's what you're saying. I don't know how to say it, but close enough, hopefully. Muse Moments, hi. I just read one of yours. All right, so the next one I'm going to read is called Muddy, and it's by The Shades Sarah Writes. This is actually another one from a photo prompt, but this was actually a photo prompt that I didn't put out on Instagram. It was only in our Facebook group. So we do a little extra thing. We have other activities that we do in that Facebook group. And we also post the photo prompts and the 6-word dailies in the group on Facebook before we put them on Instagram. So if you like those and you want a little head start, you can join our little Facebook group by going to the link in Eve Poetry Group's bio. So here is Muddy by The Shade Sarah Writes. Am I invisible? Because it feels that way. No one wants to talk. No one wants to listen. They only acknowledge my existence when it gives something to them. Once it runs out, I'm thrown out, forgotten. And always I try to let them back in. Back into the shy soul that forgives but never forgets, even with no apology. I act as the doormat that they rub their issues off like muddy shoes. And on the sunny days where no puddles occur, they just walk past, assigning me to their mind's oblivion, until the day they knock again, and again I will answer, only to have their problems wiped on me. I offer them to come inside. Without a word, they walk away. So in the end, it is me who cleanses, but gets left muddy. And that was The Shades Sarah Writes. Wow, that was so good. I love the inspiration you guys get from those photos. It's really cool. All right, if you guys have any comments, definitely share those for Sarah. And I'm going to go ahead and read the next one. It is by I.Sonali Gupta. If nobody has loved you, like the sky loves the stars, like the birds love the trees, like flowers love the bee, like the sun loves the moon, like you are meant to be, let me be your nobody then. And that was Sonali Gupta. I didn't see Sarah today. I don't think she's in here. Or God's One Son. He's usually on these two. There's a few of the members from Writers and Poets Cafe that are missing this morning. Hopefully they're either sleeping in or off doing something fun on their day off. All right, so the next one is also from our word prompt or photo prompt. And the photo prompt was a photo of a hand with mud all over it. So and then you just see mud in the background. So this is what Athena came up with. Athena.McCurris. Oh, good. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. I very much appreciate those of you that hang out with me during the live feed, because it makes it a lot more comfortable and it makes it more fun to see the interaction. All right, so this is Dirt by Athena McCurris. Talk is cheap without a priceless deed. Hands covered up while mud baths bleed. Black and blue shades of gray. Guilty as sin looks the other way. Give with one hand, take with the other. Keep your dirt hidden under cover. Swept away by the murky sludge, cleansed of deceit, dirt holds no grudge. All right, thanks for stopping by, Valerie. No problem. Even if you guys stop in for just a little bit, I'd still quite appreciate it. It is very nice of you. Thank you. Time is, I feel like time is definitely, well, it's not just a feeling, it's a fact. Time is our most precious commodity, and when you guys give of yourselves and your time, that is a real gift. All right, the next one is also from the Muddy Hand photo prompt from our Facebook group, and this is by Keyed_poetry, and it's called Mimicry. Get my hands dirty, it's all in the mimicry of fitting into the fallacy of a perfect society. I manicure the mud away, for I'm a creature of disguise. I'll just hire for a day a conjurer of lies. Fall victim to a murder of crows. Did I mean to do it? Maybe. I don't know. I've come from the dumps and dug my way to the top. When does the struggle to fit in stop? And that was Mimicry by Keyed_poetry. Oh, no worries. Have a good day, Muse Moments. All right. The next one is, again, from the photo prompt, the Muddy photo prompt. And this is by Jeffrey Moore Poetry, and it's called In the End. At the end, it was easy to place the blame upon your head. I crowned you with denial, cloaked you in self-loathing. For me to exercise my faults, wistfully parade my errors was too agonizing. I didn't have the strength to be my own martyr. But today, my love, I whisper softly into your ear. I didn't have clean hands either. It's beautiful. Well done. Jeffrey Moore Poetry, In the End. Hi. Bug words. All right, the next one is from My Real Life Stuff. I love that part, yeah. Oh, yeah, I know. It was, yeah, you joined into a kind of a sad one, but I love that truth, though. I think it's so important. to admit our part in it, and I love that that poem is kind of about that. The next one, my real life stuff, my party. I'm extremely anxious. Does it show? I hope I don't see anyone I know. I probably won't remember their name. It's been a while, that's what I'll blame. Why do I show up to these gatherings? So much unneeded anxiety it brings. I wonder how long I should stay. I've worried about that all day. When I show up, I feel somewhat crazy. If I don't show people, probably they'll think I'm lazy. Next time, I should just stay home. Less anxiety when I'm alone. I think it's about time to go. I can sneak out, no one will know. Now that I'm gone, I feel much better. Maybe next time, I'll just send a letter. My Party by My Real Life Stuff. This one is called My Pages Are Yours by Simulation.1. I leave a lot of people baffled, always wondering, and often they'd give up. They would abandon reading. That's all right. We'll keep on living. But to those still trying, let me remind you of something. The term enigmatic is based on your understanding, not my smile or the words I'm saying. Frankly, I never hid my baggage. I'm an open book. To those who know my language. And that was Simone Flores. Her Instagram is Simulation1. And that was called My Pages Are Yours. Next up is called Worth It, and it's by jdc.writes. I needed to leave this place behind, out of sight and out of mind, to leave the hurt that's in my life, from the scars of words that cut like a knife. So I packed up my things of what I held dear, to live someplace far among the forest of deers. I faced all my fears and lived in my car, to breathe in the wild, to sleep under stars. No job, no family, no friends, just me. From here on out, I only breathe in, inhaling the air. It's fresh and it's thin, setting my sights far as I can see, away and alone with only the three, I, myself, and me. No calls, no texting, no words for perplexing, no writing, no fighting, no subtext for vexing. I've answered my own question of knowing what's next. This silence chooses me to its humble subjects. For I stay in this place, an elected reject. Who am I running from? No one, I say. What am I running from? A place of decay. Those parts of me linger, and smell of that place, corroding the new air as it reeks in disgrace. I burn those old clothes that remind me of shame, starting a fire to burn in the flames. I toss in a shirt with blood on the sleeve. I remember that night when she said she would leave. I pulled on her arm and I begged her to stay, content with her company despite what I prayed. She struck me across my face and it bled. I said something ugly. I wish you were dead. Those memories burn as the shirt churns to fire, erasing the past of what has transpired. I keep the flames bright and use it all night as I start to make camp around this warm delight. I reminisced and remembered the day that I left, 5 years ago today from a person to bereft. 260 weeks from that slap on the cheek. Now I live in this forest, among the creeks and peaks. I've distanced myself from that hurt that I've known. Content with no family, satisfied with no home. Was it worth it? I ask, questioning nature's compliance. She answers in defiance, with nothing but silence. I'm used to this diet, all peace with no riots. I'm calm with slow movements of stillness and quiet. It's very, very quiet. And that was Worth It by J.D.C. Wrights. Hi, Gonzillion, and hi, Sarah. I love that. That was beautiful. I love that just about all of the pieces I read of J.D.C. Wrights is like a whole story. He gives a whole beginning, middle, end. It's wonderful. I love reading his work. I got one son. Thanks for joining me. I was wondering where you guys were. So the next one is from S.H. Andrews Poetry, or Chandrew's Poetry. I don't know how it's supposed to be exactly. Sorry. Her piece was from the photo prompt that we had with the skull and spiders. Into my mind, you wove your web. Arachnid filigree decorated my head. 8 beady eyes stirred dark emotions. Spidery kisses like magical potions. Caught in your silk, I am the careless fly. Softly and passively, I surrender and die. And that was Chandrew's Poetry. Ah, yes. Trust me, I understand that. I feel as if I am the youngest here. You probably are. I don't know, how old are you? Sarah has little ones, so I understand that. I'm actually going to read another one of yours, Sarah. I already read one. I'm going to read this one too, because I want to. And it's called Memory Book. Take this hand, walk beside me. Push me forward when I fall back. Catch me when the world shoves me down. Promise me you'll always be around. Hold me tight, hug me close. Make all life's problems temporarily melt. Kiss me softly, full of meaning. Make the world silent for a minute. Say I love you more. Say I love you because you mean it. Let those 3 words slowly sink in. Tell me I'm yours forever, even when I don't want to hear it. Arguments are temporary, but the time lost is permanent. But I know we'll make up for it, because every day we're filling another page in our memory book. That's wonderful, Sarah. And I love that line, actually the 2 lines. Arguments are temporary, but the time lost is permanent. So true. Ugh, so good. And I actually have a couple more that are, I've already read from these people, but I'm going to read it again. You keep tagging your stuff, I'm going to read your stuff. So, well, I don't like to call it stuff. That's like a terrible word. Your work. I love the fact that people are continuing to tag Eve Read My Poem and Eve Poetry Group. Please keep tagging. Don't be afraid. And I will, so long as it moves me, it's good, I will read it. Eventually I'll probably have to be a little bit more, not selective. I'm pretty selective. However, there are people who are probably more particular about what they read. Everything I read I love. So I feel like picking things that are wonderful and beautiful and unique and different, and they are right now. I know that there are a lot of people I read more often than not, or more often than others, but that's also because they continue to participate and tag. So it's not about, I'm not picking favorites. That should go without saying, but I wanted you to know that the fact that I do read certain people over and over again is because they continue to tag their pieces and they keep popping up, and then I'm going to read it. So I'm okay with repeating the same authors over and over again. Eventually it might not work out that way depending on how much this grows, but I'll continue to do it as long as I can. So this is wordplay again, and it's called Best Friend. Ever since we met, you've never left my side. Your lips are always wet, patiently awaiting mine. You never lie, you never cheat. I'm a liar, I'm a thief. You're a beauty, I'm a beast. I wish you were a human being. Bottle of wine, tell me what you'll never leave, that you'll never leave. Bottle of wine, only you can bring me peace. That was wordplay, Best Friend. Great analogy. I love it. Personifying a bottle of red wine. I think a lot of people will appreciate that or can relate to feeling that way. Okay, so I'm going to read another one by Quotes by SF, who I know who's been in here this whole time. Thank you for hanging out with me. I appreciate it so much. And this one's called Oh Dear World, Let Us Love. Oh dear world, what haven't you gone through to deny us so stoutly a love that is rare, a love that is true? Have you not faced the cruelest wars, where countries were torn apart and humanity was put into fire? Having failed to put off the flames of hatred, how can you still disapprove of the love that our hearts desire? O judge of mankind, who wears the mask of God, mean, cold, equivocal, and prejudiced, we are tired of your philanthropic ploys and defensive diplomacy. Listen to the demands of a pathetically pissed generation. We want what is our right and are not begging for any mercy. O witnesses, O witness of all the things horrid and great, of Alexander's birth and Caesar's death, of the miracles of Christ and the spread of caliphate, of the discoveries of science and bloom of the industrial age. What has shackled you still? Is it religious zealotry, political ambitions, or the race for more money? Or is it the darkness of the dark ages that hasn't left yet the narrow minds of many? Whatever it is, shove it aside and drive it far away, and give us a reason to breathe. Give us a purpose to stay. O consolation of all intellectual minds, search in the skeletons of the pharaohs and in the ruins of Athens and Rome. The fate of all that glory, the result of all that power. Reincarnate your decomposed souls and break the barriers. And for God's sake, let us love, for love is the prime need, the need of the hour. And that was Saba Fatima, or Quotes by SF. Hi. Hi, Sonali. I actually read one of your little poems earlier in the hour. That was actually my last piece, you guys. So there are a couple things going on right now that I'll recap with. I have the Eve Story Challenge. That's the piece where you will select anything, any form of writing that you have not used before. So a form of poetry or prose, or if you've never done a little short story, try that. Just pick something that you haven't used before, and then write about a time where you had every little hair on your body stand still or stand on end. So, and I will share again on what the challenge is on my Instagram. We also have the Lucky Poetry Contest. There is only 1 week left to submit your entry. Make sure you are submitting it via email and on Instagram. The email version, of course, you want to have it without your name on it. The one on Instagram, make sure you use the hashtag Lucky Poetry Contest. Make sure you are following myself and also evepoetrygroup, please. I usually make that, I'm now kind of making it a requirement if I'm going to be featuring things, just because, well, I think it's just kind of makes sense. But I think that might be, no, that's not it. I have 2 more things. Okay, so the contest, please go ahead and participate. It's not a very complicated one, but it's pretty fun. The prizes are going to be a hand-penned version of your piece, so you'll get that in the mail, and you'll also be featured on both my page and on Eve Poetry Group. So we'll have 2 winners for that poetry contest, and again, 1 more week. The deadline is March 17th. So that's another thing to participate. We now have a daily photo prompt along with our daily 6-word story challenges. So be looking for those. Those get posted on Eve Poetry Group. I believe that's it. I think that's the end of my announcements. Does anybody have any questions for me? I could kind of hang out for a few more seconds or another minute or so and see if you guys have a question. I'll be doing another reading on Tuesday night. Make sure you add the hashtag. You are very welcome. Oh, good. I love seeing all your stuff that you post for it. Thank you, Shandru's Poetry. Awesome. Good. Thank you, Poet Mama. I appreciate that so much. What inspires me? Honestly, this group has completely inspired me, and reading your work inspires me. That's a complete, no bull crap, okay? It's like true, honestly. The daily stuff that we're doing has also been very inspiring to me as well. But on a personal level, what inspires me are my girls. I have 2 daughters, well, and my son as well. My son's older. He's already he's 19, so he's a little bit out of the house now. But my daughters are very artistic. One is a dancer, works very hard, very smart girl. Both my girls, all my kids are smart, but she's just a very dedicated dancer, and she's also kind of an entertainer in general. And she inspires me by watching her, as well as my other daughter, who is an artist, and she draws and creates comic books, and she creates entire worlds and stories, and all her characters are unique and have entire backstories. And it was really my encouraging my girls to continue to work every day and hard at what they love that finally pushed me to set an example for them. So they really inspired me to be doing what I'm doing right now here with you. I had to start walking the walk, and I needed to set a good example. So if I'm going to tell them to push themselves and work hard and keep pursuing their craft and their love and their passion, then I need to show them that I'm doing that too. So that's my answer to that. Oh, cool. That's really neat. Oh, are you talking about me? My kids, yeah. So, graphic design. So do you have one that does, you said you have one that does graphic design in one acts, or are you saying my kids? I hope I'm not misunderstanding that, sorry. Yeah, one of my one daughter performs on an app called TikTok. For some of you that might be, oh, you, okay, cool. That's what I thought you were saying. So I didn't interpret that wrong at first. That's awesome. It's fun to see when creativity just is spread throughout the family, and you see it kind of runs in the family. But I think what happens is that when you have a family that's creative, and you start encouraging that, and then it just sort of spreads like it spreads. It inspires, like the inspiration just keeps going when you have a family and you have at least one or two people dedicated to it. And I think it's amazing when everybody uses that to continue to pursue their passions. Oh, your daughter loves TikTok? She might follow mine. My daughter, my daughter is on TikTok, and she has almost 300K followers. It used to be called Musical.ly, and she was a crowned muser when it was called Musical.ly, and then now she is just a verified, or I don't know what they call it now, that it's TikTok. Oh, that's so awesome. Yeah, I think it's my husband now. He also he writes, and he's a photographer. So actually, no, not writes. I misspoke. He draws. He sketches, and he is really good. And he also takes beautiful photography. He does great photography work. He doesn't like to do photography of people, like family. He doesn't do, the typical, like if he wanted to, he could, and he'd be great, but he just doesn't like to do photos of people. He likes to do like artsy, unique type things. We have a pretty artsy fartsy family. I know, I wish I could draw. I was given the gift with words, but I always tried so hard to draw, and I never could. And I actually met my husband in 5th grade, so I remember in 6th grade, I remember him doodling, him and another girl they both were really, really good at drawing, and I remember being so jealous of their ability to just like draw Garfield or the different little animated characters. And now here I have a daughter that is able to do that, and she's so good and talented, and I really appreciate that gift. You should. It's just definitely not my thing. So for me, it's words. I've been able to write, and that's something I discovered when I was in the 4th grade, but now it's only been since recently that I've been able to pursue it. Yeah, but we didn't get married till later in life. We reconnected as adults. So he's actually not the father of my kids. He's their stepdad, and they absolutely love him, and he really completes our family. He's been amazing. He's a great stepfather, and he's a good husband, and he's really supportive of this. Like, he helps me set up before these live readings, and he encourages my writing. All right, the Instagram timer is telling me I have 41 seconds left, so I'm gonna wrap it up. I love chatting with you guys. I hope you hang out with me again on Tuesday if you're available. And I will see you guys then, also obviously next Sunday as well. All right, see you guys next time. Bye guys. Thank you.